NN. And as I'm talking, I realize my voice is actually a lot worse than I thought it was. Um, it's been a very hectic past 3 days. 2 nights ago was Mutant Monster. Last night was Brideer. Tonight was Band-Maid at Liquid Room Ebisu. Um, I had initially started or wanted to start this at 11:15, but I do have work tomorrow. Took the day off today, and I've got to rest. Probably more than I realize. All right, guys, let's get into it. It is a cold Monday, February 17th at 11 a.m. Thank you for joining. Um, Tonight was the second spin-off of 2025 at the same location. This is at Liquid Room. It's a capacity of about 900. What's going on, Rich? How goes it? Um, and so, yeah, it was, for me, it was only a 25-minute bike ride over from my place. I biked over with the correct jacket, and then I biked back with the incorrect one, which means that it got a hell of a lot colder on my way back. And I was dreading the wind just blowing through like my denim jacket. Oh man. Hey, what's going on, Michael? Morning, SJ. Okay, before we get into the show itself, I wanted to take a moment to pay a little tribute. I think maybe a lot of you don't even know. I did post it on our community page on Twitter, X, and also not Band-Maid's Fan Cafe. That was Richard Hogan. But one of our fellow masters passed away, and I wanted to just recognize him and remember him. So this gentleman over here is Greg Humphrey. Really nice guy. I met him a few years ago. It's hard to say. We had interacted quite a bit online on Band-Maid Fans Cafe, and then I finally met him. I forget whether it was at the Belasco show or if the first time was at Tokyo Garden Theater. But we met a few times afterwards. Always a really sweet gentleman, really kind guy. The last time I saw him was last year at Day of Maid, where I had been interviewing Miley of my Smiley Time. She has her own YouTube channel, and he just kind of walked over and slipped me these Band-Maid dice that I guess he had made. But I just want to recognize him. I think this is the first time I've ever had to do this, but I don't want to make light of the fact that we make friendships along the way. I think some of us have built a lot of really deep, good friendships through Band-Maid and of course other bands as well. But I just want to pay tribute. I wish him well, his family well, and I pray that he's at peace. And I just wanted to say thanks, Greg, for just being a good guy, for being cheerful, for being positive, for being sort of a brother at arms in this whole Band-Maid thing that we do. And I hope that we appreciate the people we have around us. I know we have our differences. I know especially these days it's a lot more apparent with our values, what we believe, what we want, how we do things. But I hope in the end that we're able to really stay positive and loving and hopeful and take care of each other. So yeah, just thank you again, Greg. May you rest in peace. So, all right, that is that. And yeah, let's go on to the show. So tonight was the second spin-off. The first night, I was made privy through, I believe it was also on the set list, that one website. I forget what you call it, because I don't really go there too often. But other people had posted, and then Psyche had posted afterwards. If you guys can not post spoilers. But for the sake of our previous video, I wanted to just see what there was. And it was crazy. It was pretty wild. Let me just do a really, really quick recap of the first, that was February 3rd, the first set list. It was Puzzle, Toi Moi, Corellium, YYY, Zen. Letters to You, The One, Anemone, Daydreaming Page, Awkward, a whole like smorgasbord of ballads. And then we had Peace and Love, Flapping Wings, Klupa Time, and then there was Time. Then we had 3 instrumentals, From Now On, Without Holding Back, and Get to the Top. Then was this insane medley, Real Existence, Afterlife, Alone, Freedom, I Can't Live Without You, The Nonfiction Days, You, Dice, and then it wrapped up with Manners. Then the last spurt was Secret My Lips, Hate, Shambles, No God, and Forbidden Tale. So it was a pretty insane set list. When I talked about it the last time, wasn't quite sure, but I had a feeling they would change things up a bit. It's very unlike Band-Maid to not have at least a couple of things different, whether it be, you know, just changing places with a song, adding 1 or 2 here and there. But they actually changed it up more than I expected. So this was actually surprising, and I'm gonna go into this. So let me move this over. And since you guys can actually see this, I will put this in front of me so I can see it better. All right, this is, now SJ would have loved this. Because one of the songs that he was pretty effusive about on Epic Narratives was Tamaya. And that's what they opened up with. Very groovy beat. You know, a lot of that spanking on the bass. And it's cool. It's a good groove. It's a good song to just sort of have a party with. And that's what they opened up with. And then they went to Magi, which isn't my favorite song, but it's fine. It's live, you know, Psyche saying jump, jump, jump. It's still a good time. That's a Puzzle, which is great. I don't think anybody ever will refuse Puzzle anytime it's given. But that was followed by Spirit, and it's always, I don't know, it's always nice to get a little world domination. Those songs, whether it be Fate or Clang, just any one of those little gems. So getting Spirit was really nice tonight. And then there was a little MC after that. But the comparison between the first time opening with Puzzle, Toi Moi, Corellium, and then YYY. So, I don't know, it's a bit tough. Like, I really would like to hear Toi Moi. Corellium has always been a great song for me, and YYY is just fantastic. I mean, it's good, it's good. Then you have the ballad section, which is pretty much the same. Not much of a difference. Letters to You. Oh, wait, this person missed Zen. Yeah, they did Zen, and as I expected, it's great. It's a great live song. The oohs from Miku are fantastic. Like, you just really feel the song just with those oohs. It's amazing what just the right place ooh can do. And if you get just enough of those, it really just satisfies, just like Snickers. So that I really, really liked a lot. That was good. Okay, then the ballad section, Letters to You, which I also enjoyed. The One, which is really interesting because the venue was Liquid Room, the capacity about 900. There were cameras there. They did record. There was this whole back middle section that was for VIP because I noticed that the journalist who interviews Band-Maid quite often on Barks and other things, he was there, and his face is very familiar to me. And then on Offside, was really cool was that I was spoken about to him by Yushi-san from Blacklisted Records. So that was really nice. So he's heard of me, which is kind of neat. Anyhow, that's a little side thing. But yeah, so when I was listening to the one, which is probably, I think it is my favorite song. Is it my favorite song? It's the most impressive song to me, production-wise, off of Epic Narratives, and I find it very moving. But in that venue, it just felt cramped. That song felt cramped. Have you guys ever had that where you listen to a song at a venue and it feels cramped because of the venue? Um, yeah, I don't know. That song belongs in an arena, and I really would hope one day that we'll get to hear it in an arena, just like at Yokohama. So great, very moving. Anemone is a favorite of mine. I'm always moved. I'm always moved by Psyche's vocals on that song. It's so delicate. Daydreaming, which is, it's a fan favorite. It's a top 10 for a lot of people and for very good reason. So really, really good. What's going on, Philip? And then you had Page, um, which is just a sweet, sweet song off of Conqueror. So that ballad section was really, really nice, very touching, very moving. And then all of a sudden they go into an MC time again, and they like, Psyche said it was her wagamama time. Wagamama in Japanese, like her selfish time. Um, and previously it had been Klupo, so that's why at the previous show, they got Peace and Love and Flapping Wings. This was even more, in some ways, it was even more unique, and you just kind of wonder, will you ever see this again? I don't think you ever will. Um, but they called it a guest. They actually called it a guest person to sing with them, in a Band-Maid song. So they ended up singing Awkward with this guy, Tanigawa Masanori, who is the singer for a band called Unchained, which is a band that Psyche sang with 9 years ago on a song called Wonder, because they were on the same label. So this is the second time they've ever performed it in the past 9 years. So they called him out. This kind of small guy had an acoustic. He's like, is it okay? Am I okay to be here? It feels weird. um, but yeah, that kind of threw me off, but in a really good way. I was like, whoa, this is okay. So last time they got Klupo, but now they actually have a guest on here. So he sang Awkward with the band. Fantastic job, great vocals. His band Unchained has been around for 29 years. Um, and I don't know when they got into, because he started it when he was 14. The band is 29 years old, so he's 42 years old. So I don't know the details or the history, but that was really, really interesting. But yeah, fantastic job on Awkward. I really enjoyed that. And then he sang the song Wonder with Psyche on acoustic, just the two of them as a duet. And that was really interesting too. It went more, it was some more jazz chords, like dominant sevenths, diminished, all that kind of stuff. So the song itself, it's not quite my style, but hearing the two of them sing it and hearing Psyche just really sing the song, that's very different from the typical Band-Maid discography. It was really cool. I mean, it was a cool moment. Um, and again, it's one of those things where you're like, it's a one and done. I think previously we've talked about this idea of FOMO, especially with Band-Maid, because rarely will they ever repeat themselves, and they will do things that you're like, oh my God, why wasn't I there? Why wasn't I there? And I think with Klupo performing the last time, and then with Tanigawa and Masanori coming out for this night, it's a special night. Really, really special. So that was very cool. Um, excuse me. Um, then they had a little MC time. They did the instrumentals from now on, which is a fantastic one. And then Onset played, and Onset gets a very different response. Whereas from now on, you sort of like watch at a distance and you're just like more in awe and you're just taken by what's happening in front of you. Onset is such a crowd pleaser. Like you could just, everyone getting pumped. Um, yeah, so that was great to hear again. It's always great to hear Onset. Um, and then Get to the Top. Not my favorite, but it was still cool to hear it live for the first time. And it definitely sounds better. I do think the tone on Konami's guitar, for me, was better live than on the album. So it was just a lot more enjoyable. Then you get to this section, this medley, and it's hard to explain. Well, it's not hard to explain. It's pretty easy. You have a fantastic. I mean, it's like, how can we cram all these songs into one show? And then I don't know who decided, hey, why don't we just make a medley out of all of them? So that's when you got Real Existence, Afterlife, Alone, Freedom, Dice, I Can't Live Without You, Nonfiction Days, and Manners. And it's interesting because on the one hand, you're so happy to hear all of them. And depending upon the song, they either started from the very top or they jumped in on the solo like they did with Freedom, or they came in on a pre-chorus. Like, depending upon how they could sort of like work their way through, they did have background backtracks to transition, some vocal transitions and whatnot. I think synth transitions. Um, did it totally work for me? I don't know. Because it's like going to a buffet with like some of the most amazing items on the menu out there, but you can only have a little bit of it. So in some ways, I don't know, this sounds weird if you get it, but like you feel blue-balled. It's like you're enjoying these songs and you like, I don't think anybody enjoys being interrupted when they're listening to a Band-Maid song. And that's at times kind of how it felt. It's like, duh. So it's a bit double-edged. Happy to hear even sections of the song, but on the other hand, wanting to hear all of it. I'm just really glad that for Freedom, they understood that once they started the solo and kept on going, like they had to really do a good section of it to satisfy the crowd. Because I think for me, I was like, please don't stop, like right there. um, but yeah, no, again, it's cool. I appreciate the newness. I do love the fact that they try things. I don't know if every single thing like works for me personally, but I love the fact that they try this stuff, that they're willing to just, do something different. Um, there is the last spurt, Secret My Lips, always a favorite tonight too. Such a great song. Um, Hate, oh man. With Hate, it's a great song, but it achieved greatness because of the duel between Konami and Misa. And when they decided to do that, and they did that live at Lollapalooza, it really made it legendary. And I think that form, that particular arrangement is what's legendary about Hate. It's still a great song. It's still a crowd pleaser. It's still really, really fun and just you can feel the attitude, but it's that duel between the two of them that makes it that extra special sauce. So it was good, but when you've had Misa and Konami doing that extra special duel, it lacks something when you hear it without it. Then you had Influencer, A Good Honky Dory Day, No God, which has become sort of part of the last section of Band-Maid's shows for quite a while now. It's been over a year. Um, yeah, I think they really enjoy it. I think they know that we like it too, but I think Band-Maid feels like it's a good way to sort of wrap up the show. And then Forbidden Tale, my first time hearing it. So anything off of Epic Narratives, my first time, because I didn't get to attend any of the Zep shows last year. With Forbidden Tale, um, there are sections of the song that I really love, and I love sort of the latter sections that they throw in, and it feels like these soaring choruses. For me, what doesn't quite make it like exceptional to me is actually the upbeat sections, which incorrectly would be sort of the chorus, more or less. Um, but that kind of weakens it for me as a song. But overall, and hearing it live, there's just certain sections that really you just get swept up with. The melody, the energy, it's really, really great. So tonight was special. Tonight was fun. Um, it was really, really cool to, again, hear some of these songs, hear it in these new form factors, having that guest come in. Um, and a reminder that just Band-Maid is exceptional as a band, which I don't think people who follow Band-Maid have to be reminded of. But as someone who, as of late, well, not just late, for the past couple of years now, year and a half, has really been looking into a lot of other bands, performers, you realize that Band-Maid does have that extra special something, and they kind of have that four quadrant um, speciality. They have the songs, which is absolutely the most important. They have the performance, which is incredible, the energy. They have the personality. And that puts them over the edge for a lot of bands, because I know bands like, if even if you look at some of like these flyers up here that I have up, there are bands that are fantastic bands, but as MCs and as people, they don't convey that extraness that you can't manufacture. You just can't. It's really hard to top an MC time from Band-Maid, because you have all of them in their own unique way, just as they are. And when they interact, they have that chemistry. It's like the same way that with friends, Ross, Rachel, Monica, Phoebe, Joey, Chandler. Is that right? They have that chemistry, and I think that's what Band-Maid has. And very frankly, they also have the looks, because they're cute, they're adorable, gorgeous even. So when you put all of that together, there is an untouchable quality to them, but they put it in such a nice package as performers and as musicians. And they never ever settle musically, and they don't lean on any of the other things, you know? So yeah, I think all bands just really need to keep on focusing. I mean, let's just face it, not every band has a Konami, but um, you gotta really write fantastic songs. You need fantastic songs. That's just how it works. That's what people will remember you by. Um, you really shouldn't lean on anything else. But it kind of reminds me, or I forgot to mention, is that guy that came in, Tanigawa Masanori. At one point, he says that Kanami is a Betsujin. Betsu is like different, other, and Jin is person. So he was just like, you're a Betsujin. You're a different person. And Psyche was like, what do you mean by that? He's like, well, in a variety of ways. Because she is different. She is a very special person. And actually, during the performance, well, when he came out, Konami had apparently been a fan of his for a long time. So she was about to cry. And then when Psyche and he performed their duet, Konami came down into the audience in the front, like in front of the rail, and she just cried. So after that, she like had to like reapply makeup and all that stuff. So she was really emotional about that. So it was really funny. So yeah, great show. It was great to see a lot of people that I haven't seen in a while. A lot more of the Japanese fans. I mean, I saw, a few foreigners as well. Um, Not as many, just because I think these shows have been harder to get. Um, these spin-offs, it's a smaller venue. Even with Line Cube Shibuya coming up in May, like I had to get my ticket from someone else. Richard, thank you. I love you. So it's been tough. It's getting tight. Um, and just this is pretty funny. Somebody mentioned this, and I never thought about this. So my ticket number was 456. That is my ticket number 456. And I mentioned that in Band-Maid Fans Cafe, and someone's like, "Hey, 456." And then he posted this picture. If you guys can see it, I don't know how many of you have been watching or have watched Squid Game, but this is Kyun. He is player 456, and yeah, so that's who I was today. Which is pretty funny. It almost makes me want to like hold on to this ticket and have it be, pretty special. So maybe I'll post it on Twitter a little bit later. And for those of you who don't know, Miku was a big fan of Squid Game, the first season. And I do remember that I shared the old guy's Instagram with her, and then she ended up following him. Because she had talked about how she liked him. So, yeah, that was back when they were a lot more active on social media. And then you could also see things that they had liked. But a certain someone took that away from Twitter, which I don't know. Anywho, yes. More important than me being player 456 tonight, there are some new shows added to the Japan shows. So for those of you who maybe didn't think you can make it out, but maybe now you can. So the last show that was posted previously was June 28th at Miyagi for Sendai Gigs. But now you have a few more shows added, and of course there are going to be more. I'm sure there'll be festivals, and I do think they will go overseas at some point, whether it be the States or elsewhere. So July 12th, they have another show in Tokyo at Toyusu Pit. They've got July 26th at Hokkaido, Sapporo Factory Hall. Then August 2nd, Kumamoto, that is Miku's hometown, at B9V1. August 3rd at Fukuoka, also in the Kyushu area, Drum Logos. I have good memories there. August 8th at Aichi Diamond Hall, then August 9th again at Aichi Diamond Hall. So those are the shows that are added. I just applied for the Toyosu Pit Tokyo show. For those of you who are interested, please check out their website. Please go there and yeah, apply. For me, I was very lucky and fortunate 2 years ago to be able to go to all the shows that I did at that time. Circumstances allowed for that. I can't do that anymore. So I can't follow up on like all these shows and go to them like I did. So Tokyo is pretty much where I'll be, the shows that I'll be attending. So I will be attending the acoustic billboard show, which is coming up. You do have to wear a suit for that. I really don't like suits, but Why not? Then I will be at Line Cube Shibuya, and then if it works out, I will be at Toyosu Pit for July 12th. So after tonight, that's 3 more Band-Maid shows. So at the least, I'll attend 4 shows this year. We'll see what happens. I hope those of you who have applied do get to go. It's tough these days. It is really tough. And I do hope that for those of you who have been waiting overseas for the longest time, you know, I can't say I feel ya in that I'm going through that. I'm not going through that because I have been to, their shows, but my heart goes out to you guys, and I do hope you get to see Band-Maid live, if only at least once in your life, but definitely I hope more. So, all right. With that said, that is Band-Maid. That is the February 17th Liquid Room show. It was a unique experience, and it was great to hear the classics. It always just warms my heart, touches my soul, and I realize it does bring me back to a certain time and place when I was in Japan, and like Band-Maid was just in my ears and in my heart pretty much 24/7 for, so it was good. It was good, yeah. For those of you who did attend the show, I'm curious, what did you think? If you guys can comment below on that. For those who did not, what did you think about the set list tonight? And for those of you who have not had the opportunity, please feel free to check out our previous video on the previous show. I did get a bit of flack for even posting the video and for putting up the set list, but the fact that it was tucked away inside of a video that you had to click on after various warnings, spoiler warnings, I figured if you're gonna look at it, you're gonna look at it. And since the majority of people who attended the show tonight were Japanese, I kind of figured, they probably won't. So, and Psyche did say she didn't see anything online about it, so she was like, I was really touched about that. Thank you guys. So it worked out. It all worked out. But anyhow, yeah. For all of you guys, some of you, I will see you soon, I'm sure, to come out to see some of these other bands at some other shows. Please feel free to contact me to comment on any of these videos, or on Twitter, Band-Maid's Camp, Band-Maid Fans Cafe, wherever, just to stay in touch, and maybe we can meet up again. It'd be good to see some of you guys. For others of you, if you need help, I'm pretty busy these days, but I will see what I can do. It's kind of tough to take care of all the stuff that I have going on my plate. So yeah, that is that. So thank you guys for having watched. Yeah, it was pretty fun. It was pretty fun. I don't know if it's worth. I guess I can mention this. One very quick thing before I go is that they did have sort of a yelling contest during one of the MC times. Akane just kind of randomly in the back just kind of yelled "Kakatte koi," which is like, just bring it, like, come on. And then it ended up being this sort of competition. Misa went up, and the phrase was, or the word was "oi," which is like, hey. So Misa did hers, which is really interesting to hear her yell like that. Then it was Akane. Then it was Konami, who is so high-pitched. It is so high-pitched. It was pretty painful. Then it was Miku. I don't think they'll show her face if they do release the recording, because it was... Miku gets a pretty intense face. And then Psyche was just all right. She held back. So that's just a quick little thing. But other than that, good times for all. Thank you guys for watching. I do hope to see you again on our other live streams. And yeah, again, stay tuned for Band-Maid and for our other bands coming up. And I hope you guys are all well and healthy. Please stay healthy. Healthier than me, for sure, I hope. And I will see you again somewhere. ご主人様、お嬢様、ありがとうございました。And yeah, let's just appreciate each other while we can. Yeah, once again, Greg, it was good meeting you, and it was good having the times that we shared. So, thanks, guys. I will see you again. This has been Peter from MNN. You guys take care of yourselves. Bye. Bye. Let's try one more time. Bye.